Well, that drop was nothing compared to the decline in shares of Barnes & Noble today. They tumbled nearly 14% after one of the bookstore's chain's biggest investors, we're talking about Liberty Media, said it sold almost all of its stake in the company. Morgan Brennan reports on the latest chapter in the Barnes & Noble story.
A blow for struggling bookstore chain Barnes & Noble. Liberty Media's decision to sell its stake is a big turnaround from 3 years ago when the media giant had tried to buy the entire company, settling instead for a 17% ownership cut. Today's stock plunge has investors concerned about the company's future, but analysts say there's still plenty to be hopeful about.
This is definitely a short-term negative for Barnes & Noble because it's taken away a stabilizing force in a somewhat controversial position. But that said, they still have everything to play for in that you still have Microsoft, who's a large investor in the Nook. You still have a chairman with 26% who had been considering going private. And most importantly, you still have a stock that's very inexpensive.
Analysts believe that Barnes & Noble's revenue strength and ultimately its survival as a company depends on the very thing that's driven so many competitors, like Borders, out of business: its retail stores.
I think the surprise in the space has been is just how strong print sales have been. And ironically, there have been complaints in New York recently about the number of stores closing as people are realizing they like to go to bookstores. This is very different from a lot of the other businesses that went digital and just completely left behind the last distributed medium. There are even stories now of children who watch movies on their iPhones still actually wanting to read print books. So that really is and that asset should continue for a long, long time.
Still, Barnes & Noble faces many hurdles. As Liberty sells out of its stake, the move erodes some of the financial stability Barnes & Noble has gained from that investment. And then there's the Nook, the e-reader it partners with Microsoft on. Once a bright spot for the company, the device has been losing money, with sales down 50% last quarter. For Nightly Business Report, I'm Morgan Brennan in Los Angeles.